the violin down for the viola upper string instrument. We'll go with that. And so your bow grip looks good.
Yay!
But we're just gonna try and work on the tension because you got tension in it. And when you were just going the long bows, it's that bounce in about mid bow that's caused most of the times by tension.
Okay.
So here, I'll show you with my viola. And so if I play, so you get your bow grip and like that. See, so mine's not as big as yours because it's hard to do when you don't want to do it, or when you want to do it. So like that.
Yeah.
So that's because I'm tightening up my hand and my fingers.
Okay.
That's how I'm doing it. So it's when you draw your bow, first thing you're gonna do is it's all a fluid motion. And it's what's actually happening as you're pulling the string across the bow across the string is the weight in your hand, because from last time we talked about pronation a little bit, and the way the hand on the violin bow pronates towards the tip. So it's an adjustment. When you're up here, there's on the instrument, there's more weight on the with one side of the hand, and then as you come out, it switches to the other side of the hand.
Oh.
So when you're up here, your pinky has more weight, a little bit more. So your hand is kind of more holding the bow with the outside of your hand. And when you come to this, the bow is being held more with the inside of your hand, the thumb side of your hand.
Okay.
So I might have you pick up your violin. And let's just do a down and up bow on the A string. Okay. Ready? Go. Keep going. So notice how now that you're thinking about your hand a little bit and the weight ratios and the pronation, you're not bouncing on the string because there's just that little bit less tension. So your hand, when you're playing an upper string instrument, it's never stationary. Some people say, well, it's a bow grip and it's not going to move. That's more of a loose hold on the bow.
Right.
And it's always in motion. It's always shifting of weight. Okay? So, I'm just going to set this down. You can set yours down too. And we're going to take just a quick review of the bow grip, because I think that will help you a little bit. Okay? So, normal hand kind of forms that O almost with your, yes, just like that. And so that just slips over there. And you want the bow to rest like that in the hand. So if you turn it upside down and look at it that way. Yeah, like that. Okay? You see it? So it's about the second knuckle on your first finger, just below the second knuckle on your second finger. And you want it to rest on the hand, to actually rest up there. Yep, so I'm gonna come over here and look at your hand. And that looks good, but remember that your pinky has to always look that one. Yeah? So your middle finger is resting just right there. Yeah? Yeah, it looks good. And then go like this. So you're gonna facing it towards you like that. Yep. And just go up and down. And try not moving the wrist for a second and keeping it stationary. And see how your hand tenses up a little bit. Now move the wrist again. Move the whole arm. Yep. See how it's easier to do now?
Yeah.
Now try locking your shoulder. You see, it's very difficult to do it because the shoulder movement is really a natural thing.
Okay.
It's a big part of using the bow. And then locking your elbow, it's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Okay? So now we're going to keep doing this, and I want you to think about your fingers and how they're adjusting. Think about your knuckles moving ever so slightly. And how the fingers, you can feel a little bit of tension shifting in it. It's really a small thing.
Okay.
Yeah, you see?
I think so.
Okay. Now we're going to pick up the instrument now. And we're going to go up and down and gradually get closer to the instrument. And then on the A string, we're going to go. Okay?
Okay.
Ready? Go. And continue thinking about your fingers and the tension in it. Okay. So you're having a little bit of problem now because you're thinking about it so much. Okay? So the other thing that I want to mention is, so when you're doing along a bow and you're trying to do a full bow, you're having trouble getting the tip because your arm reaches like max extension about like here on your bow. Okay? So a way to make that easier on yourself is to bring the violin just a little bit further in.
Okay.
So you can even adjust it while you're playing, so almost bring it in kind of when you get out there. So just watch me for a second. I'm going to show you. So when I'm playing, I'm going to start a little bit out here, okay? And that's hard for me, okay? Because everything is my arm doesn't go any further. But if I bring it in here, so it's more of a movement. I want to say instead of. So right now I'm at my max. It's then almost to the point where it's hurting, and you don't want it to hurt. But if I bring it in here, there's a little less room between both arms, and you're using that. So try that.
Then I lose everything.
Yeah. You gotta, it's a hard combination. So, yeah. And it might just be that your bow is just a little bit too long and you're having trouble with it.
Okay.
Because that sometimes happens too. Okay? So, let's go. We're going to start in the middle of the bow, okay? I'm going to take a different approach to this. So, what I'm going to do, and just watch me for a moment, is I'm going to set my bow on the string like this. And notice how my arm is almost in like a square? Almost, it kind of makes that 90-degree angle with my body and everything in the instrument. So that's like the most comfortable place to play in the violin. So try that. So, almost just take your bow and find the very comfortable place in your. So take your bow off the string, and take your arm, and your arm is a little bit tense, and that's you're thinking about it. So just kind of let it move it around a little bit, let it, and then come to like a point where it feels the most comfortable, and then just set the bow on the string. We'll say the D string or the A string for now. Okay, so just like that, and we're just gonna go and do. You see, you're thinking about it and you adjusted, but you were actually better when you were like this.
I was. Okay.
Yes. And it's very difficult to see that. The trick for doing that is looking in a mirror and finding a place where you're exactly perpendicular to the mirror, the flat surface. And you work at it on one string, then you go to the next string, and you think about the adjustment.
Okay.
And eventually, with a little bit of practice, and you'll get it. And if you don't get it, that probably means that there's something that's just not working out right. It might be your elbow's too stiff, or your elbow's going in the wrong direction or something.
Right.
And it also takes a little bit of thinking about the bow when you drive across the string. It's not a straight thing. The bow, it's almost like an arc.
Okay.
And so the way I think of it is a figure 8. Because you're coming down and then going back up. Because when you get here and you're having problems, you end up with the bow like this, with a point towards the fingerboard. So if you think about it, that you're contradicting that motion towards you by you thinking about making a curve outward and then coming back in. So if you picture a figure 8, you're making a figure 8 with the frog of the bow. It's a very tall, thin figure 8.
Yeah.
But if you think about, almost like if you're doing an infinity sign in math.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So, and that helped me.
Okay.
So try that and see if that helps with anything. Okay, think smaller, thinner. You're doing a good job. Okay, now keep going.
Keep going.
Yep, and what I want you to think about is the hand shifting a little bit. It's a lot to think about.
That's okay.
It is. But what's happening is you're doing a really straight down bow.
Okay.
Which is good.
Okay.
But when you go to do the up bow, you're actually curving in towards you.
Towards this. Okay.
Yeah, towards the bridge.
Okay.
So what I want you to think about is thinking about shifting the weight back to the other side of the hand as you're going up, but not when you're coming. So I'm going to do a demonstration for you of what's happening. So you're thinking about the down bow, you're getting a really good straight down bow, but when you're going, you're keeping the weight, you're not adjusting the weight, and it's causing a little bit of tension in the bow, but not much. It's also causing you to go like this.
Mm-hmm. So
that could also be that your arm, your wrist, isn't as flexible as it should be.
Probably.
It's all things I had to go through too. Okay, so let's try that one more time. Better. Keep going. Oh,
Lost it.
low grip, slow. Okay, so just keep practicing that and you'll get it. Okay? Now, let's take a look at this for the climate
Do you want me to do pizzicato first or with the bow?
Let's do it with the bow first, since that's what we're working on. And I'm just, how far? The whole thing here? Oh, wow.
It's because it's a teacher book.
Oh, okay.
So
it's just
here.
The first line.
Yep.
Okay. What book is this?
It's a duet each essential elements.
Yes. Yep. I recognize it now. So let's just hear you play that one.
The first line or the whole thing?
Or the whole thing. It was good.
Thanks.
Yep. Now, one thing I'm gonna this is gonna make it a lot easier.
Okay.
Is your neck hurting you a little bit?
A little bit. That's
okay, so let's think it. I'm going to address that first. So it's probably because you're a little bit tight. Also because you're leaning on one foot most of the time.
Okay.
So you're kind of putting your body out of it. So you're doing this. I'm going this way, but I'm trying to hold on to the violin, kind of.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
Plant the feet. You can move around a little bit. Get a little bit of, because your body is never stationary. The violin is not a stationary. I'm stiff. I'm going to play the violin now. So you want to be moving.
Okay.
Okay. So and then let's set the violin. Let's think about just setting the violin. Keep holding on to it. And what you want to do is just move your neck around. Without moving the violin on your shoulder, and bring your head over and just set it down. Okay, and I know it is really nice to just hold it like this and not have to touch it or anything, and giving your hand a break. But I would suggest not doing that
because it causes tension.
Causes tension in the neck, and when you bring your arm back up again, sometimes you don't release it all the way.
Okay.
So if you want to move your hand around for now, just bring it down, shake your arm out, or even just set it all down and just move.
Okay.
Okay. Now you did a really good job on playing and everything. You got a good tone. I would suggest moving the bow just a little bit more. Just using a little bit more bow. And also, what was happening was you're playing and your pinky is straight,
okay,
which is causing a little bit of tension there. So let's set our bows down.
Okay.
And so your hand grip. I'm gonna come over here and just look at the other side of your hand. Okay. Your hand looks good. I would almost say to turn your arm just a little bit more. So twist your arm in towards the violin just a tad bit more, but don't bend the wrist.
Okay.
So here, I'm gonna do it without the instrument.
Like this?
So you're holding it like this. Now watch it. Just come in a little. So rotate your elbow underneath a little bit more. Yep, just like that. Just so that you're a little bit more in there. And now, when you're holding it, are you holding it between your fingers? Okay. So this finger is just holding it. It's resting there.
Yeah, I'm not squeezing.
So you're not squeezing. That's the key.
And there's no red, so that has to be a good sign, I think. Right?
Yes.
It's not.
That's good.